Let's get into it. Coach Colin here. We got Trump being very, very, very merciful to Joe Biden. Didn't expect this. This interview, I'm telling you, man, it's a whole different side of Trump. Trump has given us what he's always given us, the nicknames, the hilarity, the charisma. But in this interview, he is calm, cool, collected. He's getting some real hard questions. I don't mean hardball, like gotcha stuff like Caitlin Collins does. Some real titans of industry are asking him some real specific questions. But in this question, they give him pretty much just a lob, just a softball to just attack Biden. And Trump doesn't take it. And they're talking about predictions for the debate that's coming up very, very soon. What is it? 5 days away? I believe it's June 25th or 27th. June 27th. So Trump decides to be very respectful to Joe Biden, but he does mention a relationship with a Kennedy where something about Biden's intellect was revealed. The audience at the main channel helped me out a little bit. I thought it was RFK Jr. Turns out it was a different Kennedy. I'm going to play the clip for you after I play the main clip. And Trump's going to talk about a conversation he had with a Kennedy that he has a very strong relationship with about Joe Biden. Let's get into it.
You have a prediction for the debate next week? What's going to happen?
Well, all I can say is this. I watched him with Paul Ryan, and he destroyed Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan with the water. He was chugging water at a left and right. I didn't think a human being would be able to drink so much water at one time. And he beat Paul Ryan. So I'm not underestimating him. It is what it is. We'll see what happens. But you take a look at the last one. I happen to think he's incompetent for a lot of reasons. I think he's incompetent because he has gotten the worst policies, both foreign policy and internal policy. I mean, who would not want to have a wall? Who wants to have millions of people pouring in? Who wants to have high taxes? You know, taxes are going to raise by 4 times if this guy has his plan.
Is he in cognitive decline? Do you believe he's in cognitive decline, Mr. President?
Well, I shouldn't be the one to say that, but I don't think he's doing particularly well. But I didn't think he was well 25 years ago. I thought he was not a smart person. And that was told to me by a certain member of the Kennedy family who was actually very friendly with me through a Palm Beach relationship. And I was told that very strongly. But so I was never a fan of his. But I will say he beat Paul Ryan. It was still years ago, but he beat Paul Ryan pretty badly. And I assume he's going to be somebody that will be a worthy debater. Yeah, I would say. I think okay. I don't want to underestimate him.
All right.
I think that's smart. Well, your team is telling us that they need you to go to a dinner, Mr. President. Obviously, we could keep going for hours and hours, but it's been great to we could. But it's been great to have you for the last hour here, and it's been great to getting to know you with the dinner that we did, and we hope that you'll come back on our show. Podcasts are getting bigger and bigger, so hopefully in your second term you'll come on here and talk to us again.
Think Biden would do this interview? I don't think
Absolutely
so.
Not.
Absolutely
I
not. He'd be lost.
I don't think
after
so.
one
We've
question.
invited him.
I don't think he's doing these
sir.
interviews.
Yeah.
So it's an honor to be with you all. Very good question.
We appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate
it very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. There you have it. Wow. That was some hour, boys. What do we think?
Let's do a wrap up, huh?
We got to do a little wrap here. Whew.
J. Cal, what are your big takeaways?
Well, I'm undecided, as you know. We had a limited amount of time with him, and obviously,
J. Cal, just say it. Just say it. You like him. You didn't. You were. Just say it. Just say it because it's written all across your face. Just say it. You like him. You're confused.
I have some blockers.
He crushed your questions. No, he crushed your questions. Admit
I think
it.
he did.
You asked tough questions.
You asked great questions, and he just dealt with them head on. Just admit it. You like him. You like him. You look at him.
Well, I do like the fact that he came on the pod.
I told you you'd like him. I told you you'd like him. This is my point. Whether you come out of it wanting to vote for the president or not,
sure.
Everybody needs to, I think, just sit in a room and just hear him out.
If you want me to answer the question, what I'll say is there are some blockers I have that we didn't get to. January 6th, obviously. I did, one of the blockers I have is obviously Roe v. Wade. And I think he handled that question really well. And I think we may have gotten a little bit of breaking news there in terms of him saying he would not do the national ban. And I think that's a big concern people have. And I think that's maybe the issue, according to a lot of experts. I'm starting to sound like Trump. According to a lot of experts, people believe that could be the deciding issue of the election. And so I think he handled it really well by saying the states are going to choose and he's not going to do the federal ban, and he believes in the exemption.
He was very unequivocal about that, really clear that he would not do a national ban, really clear that the states would decide. And furthermore, he understood that the states are deciding. There's been a bunch of referenda at the state level, and they are generally coming out on the pro-choice side. And he indicated that he understood that some of the votes are not turning out the way the people may have thought.
Which is what 80% of people want. Right.
So I let that run a little long. That guy does this guy is very undecided. Very, very undecided, but I think he may have turned, and it's very hard not to turn. It's very hard, especially this gentleman, these guys in particular, for you to sit down with Trump at a fundraiser, have a round table conversation with him. These guys aren't slouches. These guys aren't regular dudes. These guys are millionaires. One of them, I think maybe a couple of them might be billionaires. So these guys are very big. They're founders, tech founders, engineers. The questions they were asking were very hard. Trump was handling them on the fly. Nothing was told to him in advance. It's very hard to have that experience with Trump and then look over at Biden and be like, oh yeah, I'm still going with this guy. It doesn't make any sense, especially when you're a rational thinking person, as those guys are. But back to my point, Trump had the opportunity to just go at Biden very hard, and he did not do it. He didn't do the regular thing of can't put sentences together, doesn't know his way off the stage, doesn't know where he is. All the things that we all could agree on if Trump decided to say them, and he didn't say them. Now, I did show part of this clip on my main channel, and I was speculating who the Kennedy was that informed him of such a thing, and I didn't Google it. I don't use Google anymore, but allegedly I use something else. No, I use Google. Don't even worry about it. Sorry, overlords. Sorry about that. But I looked into it. It said that it was RFK. I said that on the video. A lot of people were jumping in, correcting me, and it turns out they were right. Went and found a little bit of footage from when Trump was in Nebraska, and he talks about it. Let's get into it.
And he doesn't know. And he didn't know where he was 25 years ago either, by the way. This was not one of the smart ones. This was not one of the smart ones. I asked, I got along very well with Ted Kennedy. Never told the story. This is for Nebraska, not for Iowa. But I had a good relationship. I said, who's the smartest person? This 25, 30 years ago, I got along because of Palm Beach and stuff. I did him a big favor, actually, Ted Kennedy. And not in my sphere in terms of politics, but that's okay. That can happen too. I get along with I have a lot of great relationships, like in President of Mexico. He's a socialist, but we have a great relationship. He did a lot of good favors for us. We had the safest border in history. But with Ted Kennedy, so I said, who's the smartest senator? Who's the smartest one in the Senate? Years ago. And he gave me a name. I won't say that because it's actually a person I didn't like very much. So I don't want to give him. I said, who's the dumbest in the Senate? He goes, let's see, probably Joe. I said, Joe who? Joe Biden. He's the dumbest in the Senate. Now, that was by Ted Kennedy. Now, they'll go crazy. They'll say, oh, that's terrible. But he said this, and this was prime time. This wasn't now. And by the way, he's not old. He's off. There's a difference, because I know people that are 90 years old that are sharp as a tack. In fact, some of them are smarter than they were 20 years before. It's not age. It's there's something wrong. But he was never, and if you look at his foreign policy decisions, they were horrible over years, and his own people were saying that he doesn't make right decisions. But now he's incapable of, in my opinion, he's incapable of running. And I hate to say it because, I'm not sure that he's going to be able to make it to the gate. But I guess I'd rather have him than somebody that actually is intelligent, right? So I hurt myself when I tell you these stories, in a way. Although I wouldn't mind running against Kamala. I
wouldn't mind. Oh, so there you have it. Ted Kennedy was the one that told him this. That's very, very interesting. Long-standing relationship with the Kennedys. I'm sure it's no hard feelings between him and RFK. I'm sure they'll be able to reconcile after this whole thing goes down. But there you have it. Um, I wasn't prepared for the end of that clip. I didn't watch it that far. Someone who's actually intelligent wouldn't mind running against Kamala. Oh my God. I'm sure he would. It'd be like Hillary Clinton all over again, but like 10 times more. Yeah. Donald Trump receives 200 million votes. Man, but there you have it. That Kennedy is the one that told him. But again, in this interview, little different, man. He was really focusing on policy. Even when he was talking about Biden, he gave a little bit of a jab, but he started talking about his policies. And if that gentleman didn't cut him off and ask the mental declining question, he probably just would have stuck to how bad his policies are. I've seen a different side of Trump in this interview. I know there's been people, I think Michael Rappaport was one of them. Stephen A. Smith was one of them. There's been various people, online commentators, who have said, you know, they wish Trump was more statesmanly. He doesn't have the temperament. And this just goes to show that depending on the room that he's in, he will change. He will make sure to be on point with that room. He's in front of a bunch of tech millionaires, right?
Policies.
What? I just want to go to it. Let me just see it. Don't play it. There you go. He's in front of a bunch of tech millionaires there. So he acts the way he needs to act, with a bunch of tech millionaires. Right? When he was in front of that other crowd, he went into joke mode. He made funny statements. He knows how to handle a crowd. That's part of having charisma. That's also part of being a businessman. You understand what room you're in, what you can say, what you can't say. That's why when he was on the hot mic, he said what he said, because he was with a guy who's a radio guy. It's like, I can shoot it with a radio guy. Like, why not? Then when he's around the millionaires, he knows how to buckle down and talk there. And when he's around the American people, he knows how to talk to them. That's what you want. So when he's around some world leaders, imagine how he changes. Imagine how he switches up. Imagine how his demeanor gets. You know what I mean? He's not trying to joke around like he does with Iowa or Nebraska in front of that huge crowd. He gets down to business. Just shows. Really, really cool interview. These guys did a really, really cool job. Really, really cool job. Really, really good job. They asked some really hard-hitting questions. And although the gentleman who was just on the screen last, this gentleman here, I don't even know his name, but although he is undecided, this guy here, although he is undecided, he is still willing to hear Trump out. He's still willing to ask questions without any emotion attached to it. So all in all, they did a fantastic job. But Trump, a little more statesmanly than usual. You guys ready for that? You know what? Not even you guys, because most people watching this, they're conservative. People on the left, are you ready for that Trump? Are you ready? You're not going to know what, if he keeps this up, you're not going to know what to do at the ballot box. You're going to get to the ballot box, start sweating. You're going to get to the ballot box and start sweating. That's what you're going to do, because he becomes the obvious choice. Once he calms down and he's not doing all those things, he becomes the obvious choice. Anyways, guys, that's just my 2 cents. Subscribe, like the video, turn on the notifications. It helps the channel tremendously. And other than that, I'm out.